Baldy here claims that being undocumented is a crime. So let's ask the American Civil Liberties Union, is the fact of being present in the United States in violation of the immigration laws a crime? No. The act of being present in the United States in violation of the immigration laws is not, standing alone, a crime. While federal immigration law does criminalize some actions that may be related to undocumented presence in the United States, undocumented presence alone is not a violation of federal criminal law. Thus, many believe that the term illegal alien, which may suggest a criminal violation, is not only inaccurate but misleading. Entering the United States without being inspected or admitted, i.e. illegal entry, is a misdemeanor or can be a felony depending on the circumstances. But many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants do not enter the United States illegally. They enter legally but overstay, work without authorization, drop out of school, or violate the conditions of their visa in some other way. Current estimates are that approximately 45% of undocumented immigrants did not enter legally. Undocumented presence in the United States is only criminally punishable if it occurs after an individual was previously formally removed from the United States and then returned without permission. Mere undocumented presence in the United States alone, however, in the absence of any previous criminal removal or unauthorized entry, is not a crime under federal law. In fact, Congress refused to make undocumented presence in the United States a federal crime. Back in 2005, H.R. 4437, the Sensenbrenner bill, would have made simply being present in the United States and undocumented a felony. Senator at the time, Harry Reid, attacked the bill as making criminals out of and demonizing a lot of hard-working people who are just trying to provide for their families. That bill failed. But let's talk about the abduction and detainment of immigrants in the United States and the violation of their due process. People say, well, they're criminals because they're in this country illegally, so they deserve to be locked up. So is immigration court a criminal court? Is federal immigration enforcement a criminal or civil system? According to the ACLU, federal immigration laws are principally enforced through civil proceedings administered by the Department of Homeland Security. Do you know what the consequence is for being in the United States undocumented? This may shock you, considering the Republicans are wanting to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on it over the next 10 years. But the resulting consequence of being in this country undocumented is removal from the United States. It is not being stuffed into a detention facility / concentration camp for however long the for-profit corporations like Core Civic and Geo Group want to keep you, because the longer they keep somebody, the more of our tax money they can siphon off. The more they get paid out of our hard-earned tax money, the longer they keep immigrants detained. And we know that the Trump regime wants to deny these folks any due process whatsoever, because immigration enforcement is now a grift in the United States. Like everything that the Trump regime does, it's a fucking grift. They are taking billions of our taxpayer dollars and they are funneling them directly into these for-profit businesses like Avelo Airlines, like Core Civic, like Geo Group. It's big business to violate the rights of immigrants, to keep them in alligator Alcatraz, to keep them in these detention facilities like the one in Tacoma, Washington, known for its terrible conditions, or like the one where you left this comment, Baldy, the one in Texas, the 2 detention facilities in Texas, where adults and children are fighting over water, where children are being denied basic medical care. I mean, we already know that the folks that ICE is snatching now are not criminals. In fact, Stephen Miller directed ICE back on May 31st to look for non-criminals specifically. They're snatching our agricultural workers straight out of the field. They're snatching moms on their way to drop their kids off at school. They're going into hospitals and churches and schools and snatching people. They are taking children out of foster care. They're showing up to construction work sites. They're showing up to diners and restaurants. They're snatching decent, hard-working people who contribute to the economy and pay their taxes and want to live their lives in peace. That is who ICE is taking. They haven't just admitted as much, they have publicly declared that is their goal. These people are not criminals. In fact, we know that 93% of the folks who have been snatched by ICE and deprived of their liberty have no violent criminal history whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. I mean, we actually know from studies as far back as 2009 that immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than American citizens. This is a grift, sweetheart. They are doing it to suck up your tax dollars and mine. They are terrorizing immigrants around our country who work crucial jobs that are vital for producing our food, vital for our economy, so that they can grift and also destroy our economy, make it much easier to control and manipulate the American populace, inflict terror. And also, of course, part of the goal is to commit an ethnic cleansing. We cannot forget that. That's a key component of what this regime wants to do. So your assertion is a bunch of absolute horse shit. I know it's propaganda that you've been fed by the right because you desperately want to believe that what they're doing is somehow justifiable, because you don't want to see the ways that they're ripping off you and me and every other tax-paying American. You don't want to have to face the fact that what they're doing is cruel and terrible. It's immoral. It's nonsensical. It's destructive for every aspect of American society. I mean, Human Rights Watch has called it a serious abuse. It's definitely not making America great, that's for sure.